Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Crystal Palace chief lifts lid on Mark Guehi's stance after failed. Liverpool transfer. Crystal Palace chief Steve Parish has conceded that Mark Guehi now holds all the cards when it comes to selecting his next club. Following the breakdown of his proposed transfer to Liverpool, the England international came close to completing a switch to Anfield in the dying stages of the window before Crystal Palace withdrew from negotiations on deadline day. Currently, Guehi is poised to depart Selhurst Park without a fee when his contract expires. Liverpool have predictably been mentioned as potential suitors, whilst Bundesliga powerhouses Bayern Munich have also recently been linked with a move. Providing an update on Guehi's situation, Palace chairman Parish has acknowledged that the Eagles were unable to sanction the sale and accepts that Guehi now controls his own destiny regarding his next destination. Providing an update on Guehi's situation, Palace chairman Parish has acknowledged that the Eagles were unable to sanction the sale and accepts that Guehi now controls his own destiny regarding his next destination. Speaking on the Men in Blazers podcast, he said, "Well, we did quite an analytical look at it in terms of what do we think Mark's worth in terms of places in the Premier League. Obviously, what does it do to that mentality, that psyche, that belief system? All of those indefinables. And you know, what's the upside? And what's the downside? It was a very marginal call. Mark was great about it as a person. Liverpool made the offer. It was a massive club. He was obviously interested in going. But he was fine about it. Staying, if that was the decision we make. Obviously, it means all of the ball is in his court tremendously as a player, and he's got the choice of wherever he wants to go. It was a very difficult one, but I think definitely the right one," he added. "So we needed to keep Mark because the difference between us having a stellar season and having a relegation-threatened season is us winning 5 games or not. So the margins in the Premier League are very tight, and you have to remember that Michael Olise has gone. We're okay. Ebereki Eze has gone. We're okay. Wilfred went. We're okay. There's a limit to how much you can keep doing that before you break down the fabric of the team." Following the decision to retain Guehi, Palace has made an encouraging start to the campaign. The Eagles currently occupy 10th position in the Premier League table and have progressed to the Carabao Cup quarter-finals, following their impressive 3-0 triumph over Liverpool at Anfield. That setback represented the latest chapter in a difficult spell for the Reds under Arne Slot. The Merseyside club have suffered defeat in 6 of their previous 7 fixtures across all competitions. Jeremy Frimpong could miss 7 more. Liverpool game after stupid. Arne Slot admission. Jeremy Frimpong is set to remain on the treatment table until December, following a hamstring setback sustained during Liverpool's victory over Eintracht Frankfurt. The Netherlands international managed only 19 minutes against the German outfit before requiring substitution and has since been absent for the Reds' losses to Brentford and Crystal Palace. Arne Slot initially indicated in Germany that he anticipated being without the right back for several weeks, before subsequently acknowledging his fellow Dutchman was facing an extended period on the sidelines. "Jeremy's not in a good place," Slot remarked ahead of the Brentford encounter. "What I mean by that, he is definitely not going to play today, tomorrow, or next week. Hamstring injury, so that's going to take a while." Reports from the Daily Mail suggest Frimpong is now confronting a 6-week absence, marking the second occasion this campaign he has suffered a hamstring complaint. The defender was forced off through injury during his Premier League debut against AFC Bournemouth, though he was sidelined for merely 2 matches before returning following the September international break. Nevertheless, having already sat out 2 games since his most recent problem, Frimpong could potentially miss up to 7 additional fixtures. Should the reported 6-week layoff prove correct, Liverpool is set to host Aston Villa on Saturday evening before a series of high-profile matches including welcoming Real Madrid on Tuesday, November 4th, and traveling to Man City on Sunday, November 9th, following the international break. The Reds will then play Nottingham Forest at home on Saturday, November 22, and PSV Eindhoven on Wednesday, November 26, before heading to West Ham United on Sunday, November 30th. The Reds are scheduled to kick off December with a home match against Sunderland, a fixture that comes 6 weeks after their European journey to Frankfurt. By this time, it is anticipated that Frimpong will be close to making a return, with Slot's team then facing away. Games at Leeds United and Inter Milan. Frimpong's expected absence duration sheds new light on Slot's controversial team selection for Liverpool's League Cup defeat to Crystal Palace. The Dutch manager made 10 changes to his starting lineup for the match against the Eagles, which resulted in a 3-0 loss, and named an entirely academy-based substitutes bench while giving most of his senior squad the night off. With Connor Bradley being his only available senior right-back option in Frimpong's absence, Slot referred to the Northern Ireland international when defending his contentious selection policy. Everybody can have their opinion about it, but with the squad we have, maybe 16 first-team players available, this is the choice I've made, he explained post-match. Last time we played Southampton here in the League Cup, Giovanni Leone got injured, and we don't have such a big squad as people might tell, because there was so much focus on the amount of money we spent in the summer. People all of a sudden think, we have 25 players available, but we mainly have 20 players, then we have 4 injuries. I only have 1 right fullback, Connor Bradley as an example, and every time I had to play him twice in 3 days or 3 times in 7 days last season, it led to him. That I had to take him off with a hamstring injury or something else. Are you willing to take that risk with such a big week coming up? Last time I played a player that wasn't fully prepared. We thought he was prepared, but it was the first time. Alexander Isak. He got injured. Last time we played Southampton, Leone was injured, and it was a red card for Hugo Ekitike. Those are the things we can't use with a big week coming up. But there's always a choice. What if I had played Virgil van Dijk and Ibu Konate, for example? If one of them got injured, people would have said, what a stupid choice. Liverpool left with no room for error as Premier League title picture becomes clear. Liverpool and Arne Slot may believe they can reverse their current poor form. After all, the season is still in its early stages. However, they cannot overlook the number of losses they've accumulated. The Reds have already made English top-flight history by becoming the first team to win their initial 5 matches, only to lose the subsequent 4. Since their defeat at Crystal Palace, Slot's squad has been on a downward spiral. They were bested by Chelsea, shocked at Anfield by Manchester United, and most recently, Brentford outplayed them at the weekend. This leaves them in 7th place, trailing leaders Arsenal by 7 points. With 29 matches remaining, there's plenty of time for the Reds to regain their form and re-enter the title race. Manchester City, considered one of the 3 teams capable of clinching the league, is just 1 point ahead. Arsenal has managed to establish a comfortable lead at this early stage, having won 7 and lost 1 of their 9 games. However, Liverpool's 4 defeats do not leave much room for maneuver. A glance at the list of previous Premier League winners reveals that no team has ever won the title with more than 6 losses throughout the season. This implies that Slot's team can only afford to lose 2 more matches over the next 7 months, or they'll need to make history if they wish to retain their champion status. Last season, Liverpool suffered 4 defeats, but only 1 of those came within their first 30 matches. The other 3 losses occurred once the title was virtually secured. In the past decade, only Manchester City in 2021 managed to lose 6 matches and still clinch the title, thanks to an impressive 15-match winning streak. It's clear that the bar has been raised in recent seasons, making it increasingly challenging to secure the title. The points needed to become champions illustrate this point. In 7 of the last 9 seasons, a minimum of 89 points was required to lift the trophy. This level of consistency is further emphasized by the small number of defeats. It's also important to consider the timing of these losses. A championship-winning team might end the season with 4 or 5 losses, but if most of those losses occurred after April, when they had a comfortable lead, it paints a different picture compared to a team who had suffered 4 defeats by November and then had to maintain a relentless pace. That's the predicament Liverpool finds itself in. When Liverpool secured the title under Jurgen Klopp in 2020, they suffered 3 losses. Last season it was 4. City claimed the title in 2024 and 2022 with 3 losses. In 2018, their Centurions team endured just 2 defeats. So the margin for Liverpool to bounce back from defeats is slim. And their fixture list doesn't offer much respite. They still have to face Arsenal at the Emirates, Manchester City home and away. Away games against Tottenham, Aston Villa, and United could all potentially go awry. No draws opens doors. Liverpool's shortage of draws could yet prove beneficial to their cause. An uptick in defeats can be partially balanced by avoiding stalemates, which would help boost their points per game average. Chelsea in 2016-17, for instance, suffered 5 defeats. 2 of those setbacks occurred within the opening 6 matches. However, throughout the campaign, they managed just 3 draws, the second lowest tally for a championship-winning side in Premier League history. City narrowly pipped Liverpool in what many consider the finest Premier League title race in 2018-19. Pep Guardiola's outfit lost 4 times compared to Liverpool's solitary defeat, yet the Manchester side recorded only 2 draws. The Reds, meanwhile, shared the points on 7 occasions and ultimately fell short by a single point. The lowest points hauled to secure Premier League glory stood at 75, achieved by the Red Devils in 1996-97. However, as the years have progressed, standards have risen and the room for mistakes has diminished, even by the mid-2000s. Sir Alex Ferguson recognized his team needed to adapt. "We once won the championship with 76 points, but those days have gone," remarked the Scot. "This means Slot cannot depend on competitors faltering. Instead, he must count on his squad delivering near-flawless performances from this point onwards." Ex-Liverpool star claims former club didn't give him food and brutal treatment. Fabio Borini has revealed he was prepared to take legal action against his former club Sampdoria, alleging that the Italian side forced him to train alone and denied him meals when he fell out of favor. The former Liverpool striker has returned to England, causing quite a stir by joining League Two side Salford City. He says he's now recovering after a challenging period in his native Italy. Borini has had stints with several Italian clubs, including Roma and AC Milan, but it was his recent spell at Sampdoria where he faced significant difficulties. The 34-year-old netted 9 goals in an otherwise impressive debut season, only to find himself sidelined following changes behind the scenes. Accused of being a disruptive presence in the dressing room, a claim he refutes, Borini was ready to take on the club legally over his treatment. Speaking to The Times, Borini said, "People close to me know how difficult it was because it was a very strict position taken by the director before even meeting me. He decided that I wasn't right, I wasn't this, I wasn't that. I was a problem in the dressing room, when in reality, I was the dressing room. I was keeping them together in the hard times because it's my experience that brings me to do that, and I can do the same here." I was ready to sue the club. I had every paper to sue the club because they can't make me train on my own different times, no food, no involvement with the team, all these little things. So I was very, very, very troubled. I spoke with a friend of mine that was in Sampdoria and lived the same situation, and he said, "I'm feeling like I'm healing by being away." And I texted him yesterday and said, "I'm starting to feel those feelings again," because it's a long process. Borini acknowledges that his time at Salford has already breathed fresh life into his career, though his choice to join the League Two outfit, part owned by Gary Neville and David Beckham, wasn't driven by financial considerations. Whilst the club have been amongst the division's more substantial spenders, they've remained in the 4th tier since earning promotion in 2019. He reached out to mate Alex Bruce, who serves as assistant to Carl Robinson at Salford, and following a training period with the club, he committed to a return to the northwest of England, where he also maintains business ventures. "It doesn't really matter the league or context, it's about football," he said. "Salford is being built to be a proper football club. It's not like they're throwing money around for no reason. It's football people running a football club." Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.